Alright, so I got the G2 Quick Turn throttle tube for the Grom. The stock one's fine for the most part. The only thing I don't like is that it's plastic, so if it was to fall, it's like one of the first things I can break if it lands, kind of on it. A lot of people say plastic. It's not bad, but it will break. This is billet aluminum. I'm not saying it's invincible, but it'll definitely hold up better. And then I got these grips too. It's just kind of a good idea to get them on there because it's kind of hard to get the grips off. So a lot of people, when they change the grips, they'll change these too, and vice versa. And then just some glue. I got this right from Pro Taper. So the G2 tube that I got, it's supposed to make it so that you don't have as much slop or get rid of it completely. Well, one of the two. It's supposed to help with the slop, and it's also supposed to give you a shorter travel distance. So I figure, like, I'm normally turning it and then I'll kind of like hold it in place and bring my hand up more, and I kind of like let go of it, like, you know what I mean? I can't really just, because I'll be riding, like, you know what I mean? Like, it's kind of uncomfortable. It's not the end of the world, but I also want to change out my grips, and I figure it's kind of the perfect time. A lot of people will do the tube when they do the grips, or they'll just do the grips when they do the tube, because honestly, I'm probably not going to be able to get this grip off the tube. I mean, I probably could, but I'm not going to go crazy considering I have new grips. This side I already got off when I did the handlebars, so it shouldn't be that much of a problem. But I bought the new grips too, so I figured I might as well throw those on and make it a little bit more worth it. Alright, so what we're going to want to do, there's a Phillips head right here. I'm going to take this off. I'm going to try to just take that off and split this apart. I might have to move this whole piece here. If I do, it's just two 8mm bolts. It's just kind of a pain getting it all back together. So the less I gotta take apart, the better. So I'm gonna try doing this first. If I have to, I'll come back to this. So we're just gonna take this nut out, and it should come right apart. Okay, so you're gonna see two parts to this. You're gonna see there's the one here and the one under it. So what you gotta do, you gotta get like a little pick and kind of get under it, pick it up, and you just kind of move the throttle and try to get these little like anchors out. So you'll want to pick this up, come out this little opening, get that. Once you get one out, you can get the other out easily, and it's going to come off as one whole thing, more than likely. I'm sure you could get the grip off, but it's like glued on there. So I'm going to get a little pick, go under this, get this off, and hopefully we can get the other one on without having to do too many adjustments. So I don't have a pick. This is not a pick, but it is warranted. So worst comes to worst, I should be good. There we go. So I know it was kind of hard to see. I basically went under it, lifted up, and I moved the throttle back until it got out of this little angle here. There's this little opening. You want to get the actual cable through that, the anchor will fly out. And then the other one's got no tension on it anymore, so you can just turn that and pull it right out, and it'll come off as one piece. So now the harder part, we have to get the other one, we have to get both of these on. You'll see like they work together. You pull one, the other one gets retracted. So if we have to, we'll loosen it up a little bit, but I'm going to see if I can get it on just like this. So I don't know if this is something you'd be interested in, but this came with the throttle tube. I've never looked at directions like this a day in my life. Like, if I look at these, then you know shit's really fucked up. I was hoping for a sticker. That's the only reason I opened it. They didn't give me one. I'm a little salty, I'm going to be honest with you. So we're going to get this top one in here. So you're going to try to slide it through. But then the problem with that is that once you do that, whenever you tighten it and try to get to the bottom one, it's going to kind of pull. So honestly, I don't really know if there's much of a trick to it. I'm sure there is. I don't know it though. So I'm going to try to just, I don't want to say brute force it in, but that's kind of my plan. Without breaking it. Brute force, but without breaking it. Alright, so this is what I've always done. I don't know if it's necessarily the correct way to do it, but I will loosen these up, get these nuts all the way down, and pull these out of the little bracket. But I'll keep the cable in place. I'll just move these out of the way so it's very loose, and then I'll put the anchors into the throttle tube, and then I'll put these back in place and tighten them down. You just want to make sure that before you put everything back together that it opens and closes properly. You can hear the actual butterfly plate opening and closing. So just make sure when the throttle tube is all the way forward, it's closed, and when it's all the way back, it's open, and that everything's tight. And and just so you're aware, there's a little cover here. Let me see. This is how it normally looks. This will be here. There's a little 8mm right here. Undo that, this little cover comes right off, and you can get right to the throttle cables. So we'll do that, get it on, and then you should be good to go. Just make sure everything's tight. Alright, so we got this on, and it's hard for me to do with just one hand, but it already feels 100 times better. Now, one thing you're going to notice, so look. Mind you, I have Woodcraft handlebars. I don't know if you got Pro Tapers or stock or whatever, but at least with mine, it's not snapping back. Now at first I kind of thought I messed something up, but all it is it's rubbing up against the actual handlebars. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to spray white lithium grease all along the actual bar and down the tube. You don't want to use like regular grease because it'll gum up and get like all messed up in there over time. This should last pretty long. If it starts, kind of acting up and sticking again, you can always just pull it right off and re-grease it. I don't know if this is the best thing to use, but I keep hearing that this is what a lot of people use, so I figure I'll give it a shot. You also want to grease. You also want to grease in here. You might notice when you first took it off, there was like some grease on there already. I think it's contact cleaner. I don't have any, so the electrical components cleaner, grease, whatever they call it. So I'm probably going to get some of that later and just reopen this and throw some in there, but I'm going to spray some white lithium in there too, just to be safe. Alright, so I had to go down and readjust the return it is. So I tightened that, I think. I forgot how it was worded. I looked it up because it still wasn't really working with me. But now you can see it goes right back. You just got to make sure you grease everything, and if you have to, readjust that. The return is the one on the left, closest to the back of the bike. So I basically loosened the top nut, pulled it down, and then tightened the bottom nut. You'll see what I mean when you look back at that when where I showed you where I pulled them off of the bracket. So this looks good now. You'll also know when it's good when there's grease over absolutely everything. So we're going to wipe a lot of this off. And just remember, I hear people use dielectric grease. That's what it's actually called, the contact cleaner, contact stuff. In here. That's what's probably in there when, if it was the first time you ever took it off, you probably would have noticed some in there. So I'm going to get some of that. Probably in the next couple days I'll grab some. So yeah, that looks good to me. I'm going to throw this all together. We should be good to go. Alright, so given the circumstances, I had to do something I really didn't want to do. So I got everything to work. I got the throttle tube on there. I adjusted everything so it was good. I tightened this up. I had everything greased, and it was good. Like, it would go back no problem, and it'd snap back no problem. Everything was perfect. My problem was I bought these new grips, and I didn't think anything of it. I had them sitting here the whole time. I was like, I'll just throw these on. That's what a lot of people do, is when they get new grips or throttle, they do grips and throttle tubes together. I didn't even try to take the old one off. I didn't even want to attempt it. I mean, now I probably should have maybe tried it, but whatever. So I wanted to get these on, so I actually had to cut. Let me see if I can get them. These little ends here, these were sealed. They're not sealed, but they were closed off. So these ends went right here. So I literally had to cut them with scissors, and it looks a little ghetto, and I'm not happy with it. I literally greased them to go on, which I wouldn't really recommend. I mean, they're on there. They're not going to move or anything. Like, if I force them, they might, but I didn't want to glue them on there because I'm going to take them off because I'm going to get grips that actually fit. But, I mean, if you look, goes over, snaps back. And now from the beginning when I showed you all the slop and the travel, I guess that's the slop. There's really like nothing there. And then the travel, all right, cool. That's all the travel I have. Closed, wide open. Closed, wide open. So overall, I mean, I like it. I'm going to try riding it around, see how I like it. I think I'm going to, though. I mean, so far it seems pretty cool. Not happy about the grips, but that's on me. I didn't even think about that, honestly. And I was thinking maybe I'll just rock just the tube with no grip on this one, because there is like that like gritty kind of whatever like in the actual metal, and it wasn't happening. I had no grip on it at all. Well, literally, like I couldn't actually grip it. I mean, I could, but I didn't want to ride around like that, so I was like, let me just get these on there. It's going to be temporary. I'm not exactly thrilled about it, but whatever, it'll work. So yeah, that's the painless install of a throttle tube. I mean, it went all right. A couple little bumps in the road, but it worked. So yeah, any other questions, let me know. Also, on a side note, I'm the biggest piece of shit on the planet, and I fucked up because I looked after I finished everything and went back to my workbench. I looked on the ground, and sure enough, they did give me a sticker. I'm so sorry, guys.